Everyone in this life loves freedom and wants to be free, and almost all people claim that they will do anything for their freedom, but this is not true. Few people would do anything and sacrifice everything for their freedom. Today I'm going to tell you about one of those people, Judith. We don't know if she actually existed, but her story is found in holy books such as the Bible and the Torah. And every time we read her story, she shows us that we can do anything, even the things we abhor, to protect our freedom or whatever we value most in this life. Everything is permissible on the road to victory, as taught by Machiavelli, the author of The Prince. To briefly mention Judith's story. Judith is a Jewish widow. Holofernes, the ruthless commander of the army of the Assyrian king Nebuchadnezzar, ruthlessly vomits blood on all the tribes that do not obey the king, and only one tribe resists this cruelty: Israelites. Holofernes, on the other hand, besieged the city with his army in a way to cut off the communication of the city with the outside in order to break this resistance. A time passes, and when the children almost die of thirst, the thought of surrendering begins in the city. Knowing that surrender is not salvation, Judith's heroic story begins right here. She devises a plan to save her people. But the elders tell the woman not to make plans and to wait in her seat. In order to carry out her plan, Judith washed thoroughly, applied expensive scents, combed her hair, wrapped a turban-like cap on her head, and adorned herself with the dress she wore in her happy days while her husband was alive. She put on her sandals and put on her necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings, and all her jewelry. She became beautiful enough to dazzle any man who would see her. After that, she gave her maid a wineskin and a container of olive oil. She filled a bag with donuts made of barley, pastries made of nuts, and pure loaf, then wrapped these foods and gave them to her maid. She pretends to escape from the city with her servant, with cheese and wine in hand, and take refuge with the Assyrians. Judith says to the general's men, "I am from the Israelites. I fled from them, and I came to you because you will conquer it, and I will show you how to take over the mountainous regions without ending the life of a single human being in this process of conquest." Already stunned by Judith's beauty, the men take her to the general's tent. Like the entire army, Holofernes admires Judith's beauty. With the drunkenness of her taking refuge in him and believing that he will take Israel, he warms up to Judith and believes what she says, even saying, "There is no more beautiful and wiser woman in the whole world than her." On the fourth day, Holofernes, intending to seduce Judith from the very beginning, invites her to his tent, and her invitation is not turned down. Seeing Judith in all her beauty, Holofernes drinks more than usual. At the end of the night, only Holofernes and Judith remain in the tent. Judith evaluates the moment she's been waiting for and cuts off his head with the sword of Holofernes. Returning to her city with the head of the enemy, Judith does not miss the opportunity to mention that God helped them with a woman's hand. Among the many Judith paintings I would like to show you, my favorite is that of Jules Joseph Lefebvre. In this painting, she is standing with his expensive rings, precious bracelets, and belt, as described in the holy books. Her silky black hair, which starts from under his flashy hood, goes all the way to the end of the painting, and the painter does not show us how tall it is. The hilt of the sword she holds in her left hand seems to be made of horn. There is a blue stamp at the head of the hilt of the sword and a red stamp at the beginning of the sword. Further on, an embroidered snake-like embroidery catches the eye. Her face is as beautiful as the face of an angel. She makes even Aphrodite jealous with her colorful eyes, smooth nose, and full lips. The expression on her face seems to be one of reminding herself. She seems to be telling herself over and over why she is here, what she must do, and why she must do it even if she is afraid of what she must do. Her snow-white skin, which her décolleté shows solemnly, and her nipples, which can be noticed from under her shirt, increase her attractiveness many times over. When we look back at the whole picture, we see that Judith is depicted before taking the enemy general's sword and cutting her head off. Her beautiful face and body and her thoughtful, troubled yet determined gaze show us her inner contradiction in all her beauty. I wish you all a good day. Stay with art.